Hello, historical people, Order of the Blade people. Just wanted to go over some kind of defensive stuff, right, to kind of help you guys not die when you're doing your sword fighting. First things first, range. My God, range is 100% the probably number one thing I see people doing. You're either, well, you mostly either sat in what we call weapon range. So without moving, I can hit the opponent, and also without moving, the opponent's going to hit me. Right, we sit in here all the time. Right, I think it might be a bad habit from our sparring, because most of the time our sparring matches, we're just starting from engagement range, so it only takes like a small step and I'm in. So that's a little bit of a bad habit. Anyone that's been to tournaments, you know, you start much further out and you sort of come to meet each other. I find like practicing sparring in that way is much more useful because you have to gauge your range. But anyway, the issue is not necessarily not knowing your range that I've been seeing, but it's okay, I've started an engagement, I sent a strike out, and now I'm just fighting in this range. Okay, I'm staying in the pocket, like I like to call it, but like I'm just sat here, just sending strikes, trying to use all my parries. If I'm fighting with something, especially a longsword, right, as soon as I commit that blade out somewhere, right, I'm now open somewhere else. So as soon as this is out, I'm not defended. Whereas if I keep it and just parry all the time, also every time I parry, I'm left open somewhere. And all it takes is one feint or someone to be quicker than me, and I've lost out. So what we can really do from here, I've sent an attack out, nothing's happened from it. Maybe I've sent 2 attacks. Maybe I know I'm just getting stuck in this little back and forth. Take a nice big pass and step out. Now look, we're back in at least engagement range. If you're really not sure, take 2. And now I'm nowhere near him. Okay? So you don't have to stay in the pocket. Like, I could come in and then back out. Obviously, backing out whilst protected is ideal. If everything's come up here and you've been making your opponent defend the head, it's likely their sword's going to be high. So your best sort of probable chance is maybe come into some kind of hanging or ox guard, that sort of thing. Obviously, you see a lot of people that will engage in the fool's guard, but you know, you'll see after the sort of second intention, if they're not back to mid-range, they're usually high up doing some sort of bullshit like that. So your best bet's not to be in the way, okay, if you want to stay defensive. Get in, get out, sort of guerrilla warfare. You know, obviously when you've got something like a shield, it's very different. So I've got my shield and I'm fighting here. I've got more defensive options, so I can stay in that pocket a bit more. I can parry the right with my sword. I can parry the left with my shield. Block the left with my shield, should I say. Who knows. But yeah, this kind of setup, a lot more offensive, really. I can cover, come in, boom. If I'm against someone that's just got one stick, then I can easily close them down and stay defensive whilst remaining in the pocket. If anything, at a longer range, I may even be at a disadvantage against just a single-hander or just a longsword or something like that. Purely because if I'm doing anything with this, I start to lose visibility, whereas they can start to pick me off. So your ranges are important, and that will keep you far more protected than simply getting good at parries, okay? Obviously, parries are there when you need them, but these are, I like to think of them as your contingency plan. So you need to get good at parries, that is just it. You have to get good at all your blocks, all your parries, whatever, because you need to be able to handle what's coming at you, right? But realistically, if I'm trying to defend, let's say, a strike from this guy, I'm also going to be stepping back, okay? Or if I'm confident with my parries, I can step in and clear that distance. Quickly talk about the actual threat of these weapons. So the maximum threat range or threat part of this would be sort of from the mid above. realistically. We always teach that that's the weak of the blade, but when you're striking, you want to be striking with that top edge. Okay? Because leverage. I've got like maybe a meter, probably not, but I've got that amount of length, you know, giving me whatever it is, speed, velocity, whatever force equates to. That's right at the edge there. So that's the maximum force I can generate. Okay, so I really want to be hitting with that. So to defend from that, I want to take as much of that away from the other person as possible. So if this was coming in here and I step in nice and clean there, you know, obviously with swords and stuff, they're sharp, so it's not great, but if it was just like a bat, I'd rather take a hit from here than I would from here, basically. So as long as you're avoiding this top edge, that could be as simple as strike comes in and I'm away. But as long as you're avoiding that kind of top foot, you know, you're in a better place. That's my 2 cents on that. Hopefully useful, who knows.